Hi guys, in this lesson I'm going to explain the loc property of the data frame object, which returns the specified rows or columns from that data frame. Let's first create a new file and call it loc accessor or property. Loc property. Then I will import my pandas library, pd, and my dataset, which is located here inside. After we're going one step back, inside of the data folder, I will copy this file and try to import it here. pd red csv data and the name of the file. Then I will print out the first 5 rows of this dataset. Okay, we have imported this simple dataset. Now I will try to explain the loc. Okay, what does the loc property do? It basically retrieves rows by index label. It accesses a group of rows and columns by these labels here. Right now we have a numeric data here, but I will set an index if you want and make it more simple to understand. Okay, and but before that I will just get to know you the basic syntax. First, if we define the loc accessor by typing the df.loc and then the square brackets, these ones, and if I want to extract the first row here, it starts to count the first row by 0 here. If I just click 0 here, it will print out. You can see the location is the Afghanistan region, is Asia, and etc. It basically prints out the first row here because we have defined it 0 here. But if we have like a column as an index label here, we will type in the name of the column instead of the number. I will try to rewrite this read CSV because sometimes and set this index, this location as an index or region sometimes, and try to work them or use them interchangeably. First I will comment this out and try to set the index. How should we set the index in pandas? We basically use what? We can set it separately from here by typing the df set index and index like this one, but I don't want to do it like that. I want to set it in this directory from here. In order to do that, I will type in index column equals to what? Location, and click shift enter. You will see that it has extracted this location as the index here. I will type in this one as a df and another one as a df2. Right now we are calling the df.loc. As I said before, I have rounded in df data frame. We have an index this numeric data, and 0 here means that the first row, because the count it counts the row starting from 0 and output the row of this label or loc accessor. Loc works like that. It works with labels, while iloc, which will be covered in the future, will work with indexes. Okay, now I have called this df.loc and it has printed me the first row. But if I want to use this data frame here, df2, I will try to access this df2 with loc here and type it what? As an example, I will type in, because df.loc first, I will just print it out, df2. You could see we have an index this location, and if I type in the for example Azerbaijan here, it has an Azerbaijan value inside of this column. That's why it will print out the values of that country inside of this data here. You could see just instead of the 0, I have typed what? The name of the column or the value of the column. Slight note here is that your value should always exist in a label column, otherwise it will print an error. In our case, Azerbaijan is existing. If I even try to again call this country, Afghanistan, and run it, you'll see it has a rate 6.7, and the 6.7 is corresponds to this country here. But what's more important, if you have only one value in an index column, it will print the result as series. But if you have more rows, I mean the duplicated rows in your index label, it will output all of your rows in Pandas data frame. What do I mean? If I set the index this region, you could see region has duplicated values here. I will set the index column as a region here, region, click shift enter, and call this, run it first. It has set the region as the index here, and now if I try to call the value of this index here, as an example, I will type in the Asia and click shift enter. You will see it will print out lots of rows here because we have lots of Asia rows, Asia labeled rows here. That's why it prints out all these rows. But if we have one row here, if this row is not duplicated, it will just print it like that, like this series here. You'll see it has printed it as a series. Okay, we could even type in the colon as the second parameter, which means it prints all the column names here. You could see after the setting the index, it has printed all these columns. If I type in this column again, it will print out again all these columns. Or if we want to skip each second column, we will type in the like two after semicolon. I can type in the 2 and run it. It will skip each second column and print out the certain columns here. After skipping one, it will print the location. You will see location has been printed, and then it has skipped one, this subregion, and then rate is being printed out. Then it has again skipped count and printed the year. If I want to specify how many rows do I want to extract, we will type in like that. Let's say I want to extract with df. We have a df. We have an index of numerical data here, and if I want to extract the certain rows here, I will type in the first. I can even give a list here. First, I want the first, second, and third rows, and then I can easily do what? After the df, I will type in the loc. Don't forget that. If I click it and shift enter, it will print first, second, and third rows of this data here. You will see. Again, we will type in the colon here. It does not matter. It just prints out all these columns. But if I want to, for example, print out the first 5 rows of this index, I will type in what? df.loc, and I will give a 0 because it starts from 0 up to 5 here, and then click shift enter. It will print out the first 6 rows. You could see it has counted 6, not 5 rows, because it just counts its position from the 0. 0 is counted as 1 here. Or we could even do what? Again, copy this, and if we want to skip a row, we add in 2, for example, or 3. We could easily do it like that. Again, we give a colon and type in the 2. It will skip each second row and print out the other ones, the remaining rows here. You can see 0, second, 4th. Okay, but for string names, we again have the same syntax or the same structure. Let's print out string data frame. String, I mean the index labeled, string labeled data frame. And if I want to output the values, specific values of this index here, I will type in the df.loc again, and inside of the loc brackets I will again type in the list and the name of the countries. Let's type in the countries first. I have a duplicated or rows here in the regions, but we don't have to have this, but we shouldn't have this duplicated row. Instead I will do what? Try to set this location as this index here first, because we want these rows as the distinct ones. Location, click shift enter, and then if I call it again, location will be set it as an index, and now I'm free to use the name of the column or the values, the specific print out specific rows based on these index labeled values. For example, Algeria and Zimbabwe. Enter, click shift enter. What will it print? It will give an error. Why? None of these index are inside of this object. Why do we have this kind of problem? Because we should, instead of the df, we should type in the df2, and you could see that it has printed these 3 rows here. But if I want to print it from one row to another, or like this one, let's print it again, this df2, and if I want to print it from Afghanistan to Angola, I will type in the df2 again, loc, and then I will type in the first this country, Afghanistan. Then I will type in the colon and the second name, like this one, Angola, and click shift enter. It will print out all these rows starting from Afghanistan and ending with Angola. Or I can even do what? Skip again, or give a step size here and type in the column 3 as an example, and it will just skip 2 rows and print out the third one. We can even print all the index labels up to a specific one. Okay, I will explain it. If I just try to give a head here, let's see, I want to print out the first 10 countries, and here I have what? Or where is my country? For example, Azerbaijan, right? If I want to print out all these rows up to this one, up to this country, Azerbaijan country, I will type in the df.loc, for example, then colon. After the colon, I will try to put in the name of the country and click shift enter. It means that this column means print me all these rows up to this df Azerbaijan, but should mention df2 here. You could see it has printed all these rows up to the Azerbaijan, but if I want to print the rows after this country, after this value here, I will type in the colon at the end of the string here and click shift enter. It will just count all these index labeled values after this specified country here. We can be even more specific and make our extraction a bit complex. Let's try to make it complex a bit and give a couple of parameters. First, I will type in the df2 because we are working with string labeled indexes here, and our index call is location right now. If I just run it here, I have called this with df, but if I try to call the df2 here, let's call it df2, and we will have what? The location as a syntax. And if I want to print out all these columns based on the values on 2 parameters here with region and let's say the count, I will type it like that, df2. I want to extract all these rows based on two conditions, df2 equal loc, then again square brackets. If I want to print out the region, like this one, df region equals should be Asia, then I will type in the df, not df2, should be df2, because we are working on the second type of data frame, df2. Again, it's still the same data, but the difference is df2 has the index column as the location here, and it works with strings, while this one for numeric data, for numeric index labels. Okay, df2, maybe let's just try to print it out first. I will type in the subregion, then year, and count, right, count, 3 columns, and click shift enter. It will just print out all these columns based on this Asia. It will extract the columns when the region equals to Asia here. You could see I can even do what, add one more condition here. I will just surround it with round brackets, give an ampersand here, and say that also the count as df2 count should be greater than, for example, 2000, and click shift enter. You could see it has extracted fewer rows. If I type in the even 20,000, click shift enter, it will print out only one row. You could see this also works perfect. Okay, sometimes you will need it while working with your data. Pay attention, this is not the same as we are picking the column names. Loc automatically takes index labels. You can see here it automatically takes just index labels and assign column as an index, and find it from the index labeled column. I haven't defined the name of the column here, but after assigning the value here, it automatically just does what? Finds it from this index labeled column here. I think that's it for now. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.